Hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be learning about the Hermit. That is Tarot's number 9 in the major arcana. So we'll talk about the card, some of the symbology of the card, and we'll talk a little bit about what this card means when it turns up in a reading. So here we have the Rider-Waite Coleman Smith version of the Hermit. The card represents the earth element and also is corresponded to the zodiac sign of Virgo. So when we think of a hermit, we think of someone who's isolated or alone, someone who is introverted. We could also think of a hermit as maybe a sorcerer or a magician. Think of Merlin from the King Arthur stories. Merlin comes into a scene and he makes things happen and then he disappears and no one really knows where he is or where he lives. So that kind of comes to mind when I look at the Hermit. We see the Hermit standing at the top of a snowy mountain. He's wearing a gray cloak. In tarot, gray represents wisdom. And this Hermit is completely cloaked in wisdom. And the staff that he's holding, this can represent the path that he's chosen in this life, that he is walking a narrow path, kind of an exclusive path, someone who is a seeker and is looking within for information rather than looking out. You see, he's looking down. He's not looking at the world out and around him. It represents that he's looking inward toward his own counsel and his own wisdom. And you see the light that's in the lantern. It's a 6-pointed light, and the symbology represents that it is the seal of Solomon. So this hermit is filled with wisdom and knowledge, and he's at the top of the mountain. It's like he has achieved much. He has arrived. He has gained what he's been looking for. He has found the secrets of the questions he's been asking. The meaning of this card really is all about introspection, inner wisdom, answering our own call, not really caring too much about the opinions of others because he's concerned about what his own truths are. When this card shows up in a reading, it can represent that someone needs to take time, maybe step back from outward activities and happenings and step inside and take inventory about what's going on within them. It can also represent that someone has been doing just that and has arrived at a place where they've achieved their own answers, the answers to their own questions. In a shadowy kind of side about this card, it can also represent that someone has gone within and they've spent quite a bit of time in isolation and studying themselves and being very inwardly focused and maybe even isolated. And perhaps the time has come for them to step out of the snow, get off of that mountain and start socializing again, start being part of society again. So this card can also have a bit of a shadowy side if someone disconnects themselves from community, from relationships, from outer activities. So it's a really interesting card to show how important it is for us to go within and understand what makes us tick, understand what we really think, what we really believe, what are our values, what motivates us to do the things that we do, and where do our desires come from? How do we reconcile the parts of ourselves that we really love and appreciate with the parts of ourselves that we might not be so comfortable looking at? This card is really deep. It's a simple image, but it's a deep card. Another thing to think about, as this hermit is holding forth his lantern, he is holding that light up for others. He is inspiring others and sharing the knowledge that he has gained. The light that he has gained, he's shining it outward to help others. It can be said that the Hermit card can also represent someone who might be going through a dark night of the soul, or someone who has come through their dark night of the soul and is now shining light for others who are traveling through shadow. The staff could also be thought of as the tree of life and how he is moving himself forward in his life. Now, the story behind this card obviously is that this hermit has gone off on his own in search of illumination, in search of inner wisdom and peace and knowing and understanding. And once he finds that peace and the answers to his questions, it really is his responsibility to share that with others. That he has traversed the shadows of his own inner self and inner mind and come to a point of light where he sees his bright shadows. And it's a responsibility that he has to share that brightness with the world, to get out of the freezing snow and move himself toward others, toward helping others discover what he has discovered, and trying to bring that peace and joy to those around him. I'd love to know what you know about this card or ideas that you have that this card means. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you and I appreciate your time. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and be sure and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.